James, thanks for coming to the show, man. As long as I've known you,
took a while to get me here.
I have. You might be the hardest one I've ever had to lock down.
I don't know. If you're farther than 20 minutes, it's going to be tough to get me out.
I had to bribe you with golf.
And here I am.
And here you are. And here you are.
I'm a horrible golfer, but...
Hey, listen, we're all horrible when you really think about it.
But look it, man. It's a beautiful day. It's like going to be 70 degrees.
Oh, it's going to be great out there today.
Dude, out on the links.
On a Friday?
On a Friday with my boy Adam.
And I'm playing golf tomorrow in the desert.
Damn.
I know.
You're really living the life.
I live
no
the dream,
kids.
man. No kids. Well,
no
my girlfriend
wife,
has 3 kids. So.
No one telling you what to do.
I mean, just a little bit.
No.
Other than clients.
You gotta love wife and kids.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. As humans, we always want what we don't have, right?
100%.
So when you're a single person, you're like, man, I need to be. I want a family. I want this. When you got a family, I can't talk. When you got a family,
9:20.
it's 9:20 and I'm just loaded.
How are you a successful real estate agent? Well, it's 9:20 on a Friday and I'm loaded.
I'm slamming 40s. No, yeah, and then when you got a family, not to say you're like, oh, I don't want my family anymore. Obviously, you love your family. Here we go. See, fun just never stops.
Yeah.
But then you start reminiscing back on, when I was single, I could do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about do whatever I want in the sense of like, dating other, just like getting up on when you
Whenever you want. Yeah.
When it comes to like where are we gonna go eat, like you don't have to ask anyone. No. You get to go where you want to go.
Yeah.
You want to watch a movie? Yeah. What movie? You don't have to. You watch what you want to watch.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's something I've had to learn now that I have a girlfriend. Is like I'm the guest guy. Like I've literally booked flights like 2 minutes like after talking to someone. Like, yeah, I'm down. I'll go to New York. Now I have to be like, stop.
Hold on. Yeah, let me see. I mean,
she's super cool and like unless we have something planned, she doesn't care. But I'm like, hold on, let me call you back. Like,
yeah.
Even like this next weekend, I'm going to Arizona for a charity event for Umps Care that I'm involved in, and like normally it would just be like, I'll leave whenever I want to leave, drive out there, stay at my buddy's house. Come back whenever I want, when it comes to work. Now it's like, oh, well, the boys want to come, and now we got to get a hotel, and now we got to stay at the resort, and now we got to do this, and what's the time we were leaving? And I'm like, I was just going to go play 18 holes and come right back. You know what I mean? But now it's like, let's make it a family trip, which is great. It's fun, but it is definitely a transition.
Well, it's more complicated.
Yeah.
It's more expensive.
It's definitely more expensive.
And,
I better sell more houses this year.
And it can be more stressful, right?
It is more
because
stressful.
Anything you do with other people, there's going to be an element of stress involved.
Well, that's why I think what's so funny, to wrap it back to, like when people like have talked to us about building teams, I'm like, you know how much stress every person you bring on that team is a level of stress. And I think a lot of people that get into it think, I'm going to build this massive team. It's like, do you know the stress level that it takes every single person you bring on that team?
You're 100% right, man. 100% right. I will say this, though. If you get the right person, it can somewhat be a stress relief, right? Because they can take some stuff off your plate. But for the most part, building a team and hiring people, and let's face it, there's not a lot of great employees. Yeah. And when you're hiring from a pool of real estate agents, that's even tougher. Yeah,
I got very fortunate with Brittany. You know what I mean? My assistant. Like, literally, she's a godsend.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy. It goes back to like, I believe everything's a relationship. Just like everything's dating. It doesn't matter what it is. Everything is dating. It's so funny. Like I have Brittany, and I think she's a godsend. I would do anything for her. But then she's worked for other people, and they've like mistreated her. And I'm like, how did you let this girl go? Yeah. Same thing like in a relationship. Someone's like, that girl was way too good for you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I can see that for sure. And the opposite can be true, right? Like maybe you have an agent or someone on your team that is really awesome, and maybe you don't realize it until they leave or something. So I don't know. All those things can be true, but it's just life, man. We're just, look, who cares, right?
I agree.
The world's burning. Yeah. It's all going down. Like, what are we doing? Let's be honest.
What are we even doing here right now?
I don't know, man.
I have no idea either. I just had something. I don't want to like have to do anything today, so I was like, oh, I can count this as work.
I should have put my phone away because it's rang. There's been 5, 6 text messages. Am I drunk? I'm starting to think I'm drunk. I can't
you gonna
talk,
try
dude.
question yourself? You
Dude.
nervous? You say
No,
you've done
I
a
don't-
million podcasts.
I don't know what's going on, to be honest.
You're a little tipsy over there.
Maybe it's the lack of alcohol that's making.
Maybe that's
this
it.
happen.
You're not locked in.
I haven't drank in this month at all.
What was the reasoning? Just to do
Just
it?
doing like the dry January
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's more. I felt like I was getting a little out of shape. You
Yeah.
know, so I'm doing this whole animal based diet this month and no drinking and just cutting out all the bullshit, man.
Yeah.
Doing just like meat and fruit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
I think that the funny thing about those diets, it just makes it simple. Like,
Yes.
like last year I got in really good shape, and then this year, like, I've literally let myself go, and like I kind of the same thing. Like I'm like, okay, like I had all these trips planned. I just got back from Mexico. I know, come on, you're not gonna
Wait,
go.
when did you go to Mexico?
Exactly.
Dang.
You know,
You didn't
bro.
even tell your boy?
Listen, bro.
Where in Mexico?
I don't know. Where my girl?
Come on, you got to know where you went.
Puerto Vallarta. We went. And
Okay.
then it was a little.
How great
Friday.
is Mexico, dude?
It was awesome. It was a great trip.
Dude, I love Mexico. I love Mexico.
That was my first time, like in.
Really?
I've never gone to Mexico.
Wow.
And we did all inclusive. It was amazing. Like
What was the resort? Do you remember?
Hotel Mazatlan or Mazatlan,
Okay.
something like that. It was like a 5-diamond.
How great is it, dude, when you just roll up there? You don't have to think about anything.
Nothing.
You don't have to have any cash on it. I mean, maybe a
Nothing.
couple ones for tips or whatever, but yeah, you just whatever you want, you order it, they bring it. If you don't like it, I'll just order another one.
And the food was
And the food's
amazing.
good, right? Yeah.
Like the food was so good. Like that's what surprised me because I've done like when I was in the Dominican for work, like we spent Christmas at a resort in Punta Cana. Like the food was okay.
Yeah.
Like this food was like bomb.
Yeah.
Like the best food was like rooftop bar / pool food. Like I had lunch there every day. It was amazing. Like everything I ate was so good. And it's like those are the moments. Like I had a big moment opening there, and I think everyone should go on trips like that who are working and like.
I know exactly what you're gonna say, but say it.
It was like it was just like I'm literally doing this, like, and then I was like reading a book that was probably one of the best books I've ever read in my life, and I'm just like.
And what was the book?
How to Think Bigger.
Okay.
It might be the greatest book I've ever read in my life.
Really?
No fluff. Everything is just bangers. Like it's such an amazing book. But like it was just like, oh my god! Like all the headaches, all the nights of like being so broke, getting into real estate and losing deals, and just like, is this really what I want to do? And then it's like I'm here.
Yeah.
On a rooftop bar, pool, overlooking the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, what do I have to complain about?
Dude, 100%, man. I think more people in our industry should take time to get away, you know, every other month or something like that. Especially if you are doing a lot of deals and you're making good money, you have to take those times and just, even if it's 3 days, you know, just go somewhere by the beach, in the forest, somewhere where you can stop, appreciate, and basically just be rewarded for all the stress and the hard work and everything that you put in. And dude, I have that same feeling every time I go to Mexico and I look out over the beach, or into the ocean. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Mexico's always great weather for the most part. It's a little humid sometimes, but, you know, and maybe you got a couple Bloody Marys in you or something, and you're just like, dude, okay, now I get it. This is why you do all that, so that you can take these moments and enjoy them.
Yeah, you know? I think, and that's the thing is, like, it's so funny when people like, oh, it must be nice, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, I'm able to do this because I've worked so hard for so many years, and I pay an assistant $60,000-$70,000 a year, and I have an Adrian that's $30,000 a year, and like it's like it's people don't realize like it takes all this stuff to be able to enjoy those moments. Because how many realtors you know are like on the phone? Like I took 2 calls the whole time, like. You know?
That's where I got to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, but like I played golf with guys at other realtors, and like I put 3 houses in escrow in one day, and they're like, you haven't touched your phone once. I'm like, I have an assistant. And they're like on their phone all day long. And they're like, oh, it must be nice. I'm like, pay the money.
Yeah.
Like, pay them, like, to know you have to write a you know, it's to write that check every 2 weeks, like, put someone on payroll and pay them.
Yeah. The must be nice thing is one of the most annoying things, because no one says, oh, well, it must be nice when, you know, you're taking that phone call of a stressed out client yelling at you, or must be nice when you're, you know, door knocking for 2 hours a day, or whatever the case may be, whatever the shit you have to slog through to get to the sunsets and the martinis.
Yeah.
You know, no one says it must be nice when you're putting in all the hard work. It's only when you're enjoying the fruits of your labor that the stupid people will lean in and, oh, well, it must be nice. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, it is nice, but you're not seeing what it took for me to get here.
Yeah, and I think, like, I mean, there's a reason why, like, I always laugh, like, when agents or whatever, it's like there's a reason why the numbers are the numbers. Like, the reason why there's a 95% fail rate in our industry after 3 years. Like, if it was so easy and everyone can do it, why are we the top 1% of realtors? So when they look at you and they look at me and they go, oh, it's like, dude, we're the top 1% of real estate agents nationwide. We, based on transactions in 1 year, like, it's not, it's like being a professional athlete. Like, it takes something special, and not everyone can do it. Yeah,
it's tough. I have these conversations with you know, agents like you and other agents that do stuff at a high level, and it's tough because I hate beating each other off, but it's true in a way. Like, this business is not for everyone. I don't even remember who I was talking to. Someone, I don't remember who it was, but yesterday I was having this exact same conversation. Just like, I think it was my buddy Ivan.
Ivan from San Diego?
Yeah, Ivan.
Oh, yeah,
it might have been Ivan. I don't remember. But basically, it's true, man. Like, you got to be a little crazy to get into this business, first of all, because there's no guarantees.
No.
You don't get an hourly, you know, it's not hourly plus commission.
Deals the other day, it was $21,000.
Yeah, just gone, right?
Gone.
Like, just gone into the ether. Yeah, you have to be a little nuts to get into something where it's like you only are paid based solely off your performance. There's no contract. Like, an athlete gets paid based off their performance, but once they lock in their contract, if they get hurt or you know, they suck, they might not get another contract, but that contract's, they've already got it, right? With us, it's like we only get paid if we complete the transaction, everyone's happy, you get the offer they want, and you hold their hand throughout the whole entire process. So you have to be a little nuts, but to excel at a high level in this business, it does take, not only does it take some skills, but it takes tenacity. It takes so much to do this at a high level that, you know, there is something to that. You have to kind of tip your cap to the agents that are doing a lot of business.
Even like guys, like, I'm going down to San Diego in a few weeks for a mastermind, and like, to be around some guys that are, and I don't ever want to be at this level of 1,000 houses a year or whatever. Like, that's not what I want to do. But like, just to sit in a room and listen to how they see things, that is the interesting part for me. Is like, how does his mind click?
Yeah.
To be able to take all that on.
Yeah.
And that's the interesting thing for me. And I think a lot of lower agents make mistakes is because they try to do this all on their own. And I don't want anyone's help. I want everything to be my name. I don't want to spend money on a coach. I don't want to spend money on an assistant. I don't want to work for anyone that's doing more than me because and then they do their 17, 12 deals a year for the next maybe for the next 7 years. And then this probably happens to you, but they'll shoot you the DM. Hey, bro. Like, could we meet? Why? Like, I'm not here to coach you for free. Like, my time is way more valuable than yours. Why do you want to meet with me?
Yeah.
You know, or, hey, I saw that you do this. How did you do that? Dude, like.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. No, there's.
I think that's the biggest mistake all agents make. Like, even me this year, like, I told myself, I'm like, I need to find a business partner because, like, I'm tired of everything being on me, and I have to go find someone that does things better than I do in certain things, so then we can feed off each other. Because like, I know that like, I can't do this all on my own. It's impossible. And then what boat am I missing that maybe I don't see something a certain way that's losing business, or we could be doing way more or bigger things if I just would see something a different way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or even just have someone to hold you accountable. You know?
That's a big one too. I mean, yeah, and there's ways to do some of those things without having an actual business partner, right? I mean, you can get a coach, you can get accountability partners, but I get what you're saying too. If you want someone there every day, in the actual details of your business, analyzing it.
The only reason I don't like coaches is because, and I've coached before, and I believe in like 90-day coaching programs more than like signing up for Tom or Mike forever, because sooner or later that coach is going to run out of things to tell you. And then it's like, how long do you keep coaching with that person? Like there's only so much that person can teach you. And when do you run out of things you can teach?
Yeah.
And then do they just become an accountability coach?
Well, that's the thing. I think there's different parts of coaching. And I think, no matter how many times you hear something, sometimes it could take years for it to actually click, right? Like if there's a lot to the program, yeah, there's a lot of regurgitating stuff you've already heard, but sometimes it, I don't know. I see the good and bad of both.
Yeah. You're not coaching anymore, are you?
I'm not coaching right now. No, I was with Mike Ferry for like 4 or 5 years, and then I just went to the Tom Ferry Summit, to just kind of check it out. It was interesting because the first day they were talking a lot about Instagram and social media, and I just felt like I already know all this.
Yeah.
But I will say, as things progressed, I did start to learn a lot more through, as the days went on. And, it's interesting to see the contrast between Mike and, Mike Ferry, which is Tom's dad, obviously, and then Tom Ferry. Tom Ferry is much more marketing driven, much more technology driven. Mike is very old school. Mike's very much just like you're hitting the phones.
Yeah, pounding the
and that's it. Yeah, I mean, now he gets into the details about, objection handling. And I think if you're a brand new agent and you're trying to figure out the right way to go, in my opinion, I think if you were to start with something like Mike, where you can learn what to say, how to say it, if you get XYZ objections, because those are always the same, right? I mean, they haven't really changed.
No.
I mean, you and I have been in the business for I've been almost 10 years.
6 years.
6 years. The same objections for the most part that you got day one are the same ones you get now for the most part. Sure, open door and stuff kind of changes things, but, though even the discount brokers and stuff, those have been around since the 70s.
Well, that's so funny. Everyone freaks out, and it's like, dude, those people have been around when everyone's freaking about Purple Brick. I'm like, dude, they've all been around.
They come and they go.
Yeah.
Right? I haven't heard. Is
Purple Brick went out of business.
Went out of business. Okay, perfect.
You know what's great?
Exactly.
Everyone always asks me, like,
I didn't even know.
You see? And so many people are like, oh, why do you do the video? I'm like, you know why? Because I might say something that happens. I did a panel, and I remember that was a question. What do you guys think about Purple Brick? And I said, Purple Bricks will be out of business in the next 6 months. And I was right.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang. And I was so pumped I got on camera. I was like, yeah. So for you, I think that's the thing that people don't understand is they want to do the marketing, they want to do the podcast, they want to do it kind of like what we do on social media, but they don't realize we set a base before we did this.
Yes.
We had a base.
Dive into this first.
We had a base of banging the open houses. I was banging open houses twice a weekend, every weekend, calling people, hey, can I do an open house at your house? You were banging the phones, banging the doors, And I remember when I first met you were still banging the phones.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and doors.
And I remember being like, God, dude, how did you do this?
Yep. I remember those conversations.
Yeah. And I'm just watching you guys do it. And I remember one time I went out and did it, and I was just like, I can't do this. I cannot. I'm in Hemet or Santa Santa. I remember where I was at.
Yeah,
I was
that's not really where you want to bang the doors.
And I was just like, dude, I can't. I'm not going to be able to do this every day,
Well, yeah. No, I get it, man. I think you need to make your business to your personality, but I also think sometimes people can hear that, especially maybe a new agent or a lazy agent, and thinks, well, my personality is to just chill. So I'm just, and then nothing gets done. Yeah. You have to take one way or the other, or maybe combine both, right? So it's for you've done a lot more of just marketing, videos, a lot more just focusing on social media. And building a team initially.
Yeah.
For me, it was initially bang the doors, bang the phones, and build the social media along with it, So, But you can't just do nothing. And I think that's what a lot of agents do, is just when they get in the business, they think, well, I got my license, my phone should start ringing any minute, and it just doesn't.
Well, I just think that people don't realize, like, if you run the numbers, like, how many calls you have to make to get a deal, how many doors you have to do, like, how many videos you have to post, in my eyes, to, like, get a video. Like, me and John Butler were talking yesterday. It's so funny how the world works. Butler's like, I'm so happy you called me. Like, I was thinking about you yesterday. And
He's
like,
a great guy.
Me and Butler kind of do the same thing. We do the podcast. Butler's been doing it way longer than me. Like, if you don't know who John Butler is, like, you got to go follow him. Like, he was the OG of podcasting and video back when I think he used to have to, like, record it on a flip phone. And
I don't even know.
He's been doing it for a long time.
He's been doing the video for a while.
He was Facebook Live before I was probably even on Facebook. And, like, he was like, he's like, I'm at a moment where it's like I'm doing all these video like podcasts, and then like no one watched them, and I'm clipping them all up and no one's watching the clips, and like he's just like, I'm kind of hitting that wall, you know, like, is this stuff worth it? And I was like, we only need one to hit, dude. Just remember that you only need one to hit.
Well, I think the other thing too is like you have to be cognizant of the trends too. I think, you know, like I don't think it's enough to just put a video out all the time or whatever. Like you kind of have to study, like, okay, reels are a thing now, or this is a thing now, or that, and like play with it, you know, a little bit, right? Like I've noticed you've been doing more of that a little bit more lately, different styles, different, you know, okay, well, let's try more of like an up close shot that's more like a reality show vibe, or, you know, you can't just say, hey, I'm going to keep putting out this thing. And I mean, you can, if you just do one thing and it's consistent, it might catch on, but you also have to kind of stop and constantly reinvent your business. And that doesn't mean tear it down and completely start over, but like implement new things, right? Like, okay, we're on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, but maybe now we got to do TikTok or whatever, you know,
TikTok
like, whatever that means.
I never said I was going to be on TikTok.
Yeah, same here.
And I was like, I'm never doing TikTok. Like, I think it's stupid, like, da-da-da. But then I'm like, okay, like, it's a platform I need to be on. But the problem is, like, and I'll say, like, we're doing it lazy right now. Like, we're just taking old clips I had.
Yeah, but you're still doing it.
I'm putting it on there.
Yes.
But, like, now I'm like, I didn't know TikTok that well. So, like, all I'm following on TikTok, like, is, like, people about growing their TikTok. Mm-hmm. So everyone I follow is just people that talk about growing TikTok. And so, like, my feed is just those people. Because, like, the hard part, I think, with social media is, like, I don't know how, like, we've talked about it, like, I'm very good at not wasting time on it, and I think that's a problem that some people get into. You realize, like, man, I've been on Instagram for an hour.
Yes, totally.
But you're just scrolling, but you're not actually, like, you're not, like, picking up anything. That's why on TikTok, I'm like, I'm only gonna follow people that talk about growing TikTok. Yeah, because that's why when I'm on that platform, I want to learn something from it, not just see girls shake their ass. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that makes sense, though. Too.
No, it does make sense, though, because you have to use it as the tool, not as the tool being used on you, right? Like, and it's just like anything, you know, any platform like that, you have to use it as a tool, not as a distraction. And
when did you make the shift of, like, we've talked about this, like, you know, you're great at, like, photos and, like that's something we're trying to work on this year, is like doing photos like you do, like more like catching photos, because I know that does well on Instagram. Mm-hmm. What kind of made you start shifting to that? Like, hey, I need to start bringing a camera guy and taking those photos outside those houses, or going to locations and taking those photos.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I wish we could do a better job. But you're just way better looking than me and dress way better than I do, so your photos look better. That. But, like, that's kind of like the thing is, like, when did that transition happen for you?
It was pretty early on. I don't know. I think there was this time, again, this is just kind of with the figuring out, like, what's hot at the moment or whatever. But there was this moment, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe at this point, where I realized, you know, there was this kind of resurgence of what we'd call like the gentleman vibe, or the, you know, and I was already wearing suits every day, you know, and it just made sense. Like, okay, well, I'm wearing these nice suits every day. Why not, you know, ride this wave of this kind of resurgence of the 3-piece suit gentleman that I was seeing on Instagram, that I was following? Why not just incorporate that into my real estate business? Because I'm already wearing suits. I'm already, you know, doing this. And I just figured, hey, let's try it. It's kind of a vibe. It's a way to brand yourself. It's a way to brand myself. I didn't see any other agents in our area at least doing it. And so just kind of started that way. And, you know, and then it's kind of evolved since then because I don't wear suits as much as I did, you know, 4 or 5 years ago. But, you know, like our buddy Kevion, right? Like he doesn't wear a lot of suits or anything, but he's still got a vibe, right?
Yeah, the style.
Streetwear, skate / you know, luxury, all kind of mixed together. And I feel myself kind of gravitating more to that style as time goes on. But, you know, that was kind of the birth of it. It was the whole gentleman thing.
Yeah. But like what I noticed, like you don't really post a lot on social when it comes to like you post like just listed, just sold, things like that, but you're not posting like more than that. Have you thought about doing more of those things, or do you think like that kind of sticks to your brand? Because like going back to Kevion, like Kevion don't post. Kevion posts just listed, just sold. He posts the photos like you kind of post, like, and that works really well for him. Are you just trying to stay in your lane when it comes to that, or stay with the brand, or?
Well, it's different for every platform, I think. You know, for Facebook, I do more of like posts that are just listed, just sold. That's like a post, right? Like Instagram, I'll do, if I do a just listed or just sold actual post, it's got to be a little more than just here's the house or here's like 4 pictures of the house. I'll do that for a story.
Yeah.
Because it's there, people see it, and it's gone. Yeah. But for my actual page, I'm not really doing a lot of just listed, just sold like I used to back in the day, because I realized every agent that I followed that just 99% of the stuff they posted was just listed and just sold, I was bored out of my balls, dude. Like, it's like, this is all you have? Like, you're just posting just listed, just sold? That's it? But every agent that had a cool style or a vibe or was into cars or fitness or something else, those were the ones where I was like, oh, I'm going to follow this person. Like I'm not, it's entertaining for me, right? Like that's the distraction. You get caught up in it. But I look at the client's perspective, or future client or prospective client. Are they going to follow someone that all they post is just listed and just sold? Probably not, because that gets boring. Unless you're going to buy a house, which is such a small sales cycle. If you're looking to buy or sell a house, yeah, you might be a little more interested in just listed, just sold. But 99% of your life, you're not going to give a shit about that.
Yeah.
So I figured, if I want people to follow me and stay following me, I need to do a little more than just listed, just sold posts.
Well, that's why I try to tell agents. I'm like, if you're just posting just listed, just sold, especially when you're new, and say you did 12 deals, you got 24 posts for the year.
And that's it.
All you got.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to tell them. Like, it takes, like, you went like the suit photo guy, like that kind of branding. Like, I try to tell people, like, you know, everyone knows this who has ever watched any of this stuff. Like, I really, you know, Gary Vee is the first person I found. It was Joshua Smith from Arizona who taught me a lot. And then I found Gary from Josh. And like, really fell into Gary, and Gary would always say, like, there's 2 ways you blow up or do well on the internet, on social media. It's entertainment, like you're funny, which I'm not, you know what I mean, or education. So I was like, I'm gonna be the educational guy. I'm gonna make the videos that no one talks about. And so that's what I've did. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make the videos that people go like, oh, that's interesting. That makes sense. Like, things like that.
And it's not always real estate, right?
No, it's not always real estate.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing that, like, I think people don't realize is that you have to find your way to separate yourself from everyone else.
Yes.
That is like the number one thing. I don't care what it is. You just have to find something that separates you, that people go, oh, like, yeah, that's James Shelby. Oh, that's...
Yeah, well, it's funny because then people would start sending me stuff like, oh, this reminds me of you. And it's always like some nice shoes or suit or something. So it's like, okay, when that starts happening, you start realizing, okay, yeah, like, you're developing a brand. Like, people are seeing other things that have nothing to do with you and being like, that's a James Shelby type thing, you know? And I think when you can do that, you know, now people are thinking about you when you're not even in front of them, you know? And I think you have to do both, right? Like, I always say 60-40 to agents when it comes to like Instagram, or even 70-30, where it's like Instagram, Facebook, whatever, 60 to 70% of your content should have nothing to do with real estate. then you want to just sprinkle in, in between another 30% or 40% where it's like, hey, I'm in real estate.
Yeah.
So that people are constantly thinking of you, not just for real estate, but they're also not going to forget you're in real estate. Because I've seen people that have done it the other way, where you can't.
You don't even know.
You don't even know they're an agent, dude. This bugs the shit out of me, man. There'll be an agent's page, and I know they're an agent. Or let me put it this way: I have a lot of agents that follow me from like all around the world, mainly obviously in the United States, and it'll say like Realtor Sarah or Realtor John or whatever the hell. I'll go to their page and I can't figure out where in the country they sell real estate.
Yeah.
That's a problem, dude.
Yeah.
There's no geotags. There's no website in their bio. There's no like, hey, Houston's favorite realtor or something. Like, it takes me, sometimes I never figure it out. I'll go through a couple of their photos. I'm like, I have no idea where this person sells real estate. They don't even tag where their
photos are at.
I know they're a realtor because it's like says realtor, but yeah, there's no way to get a hold of them other than a DM. But it's like, just don't have an Instagram at that point. Like, because it's like, even people in your own town, unless they know you, if they stumble across, they're not going to know.
They're going to have no idea.
Yeah, so you got to do the geotag stuff. You got to, put it in your bio where you're at least general location, SoCal, right? Like, maybe you don't say Riverside or Temecula, but yeah, man, a lot of agents are screwing it up for themselves.
And the funny part is, but then they think like, oh, what company can I pay to run my ads, my Facebook ads to me? Like, I love when people are like, I'm gonna start running Facebook ads. I'm like, don't. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because like you don't even have the systems in place to handle the leads that come in from those platforms. Like Facebook leads are so top of a funnel. Some of those leads are 18 months out. If
you can't convert your, mom's friend to use you, you're not gonna be able to convert a cold Facebook lead, bro.
I always say that. I'm like, I mean, it does feel good, obviously, when you go into a listing and like like it's someone past client, like you're just like chit chatting with them, like this, that, and the end. You walk out, don't even bring a listing and contract. You're like, all right, no worries, we'll do this, and this. When you walk into a house and that person doesn't know you, and you go in and close them in 30 minutes.
Oh man!
And you get your commission you want, you get everything you want, and you walk out. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
That's a different level.
That's a different feel when you walk out. Like,
especially when okay, they already interviewed 2 other agents, or that I've had. I mean, anyone that's done a lot of deals at some point has had the one where they were going to interview someone after you, and you closed them before, and yeah, it's a great feeling.
But then the problem with people don't understand, after that feeling, it's like, all right, here we go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's time to perform.
It's time to perform. And I think that's the thing that unless you're now separating yourself where you do like over and above for your client, like you're just going to get like replaced.
That's a good point. Yeah. You have to, once you secure the client, you've got to perform, right? Like you've got to do a great job. You've got to do what you said you're going to do. You got to remain in communication.
Much communication.
Yeah. That's just as important because as you know, and as most agents that do a lot of business know, that every client is a potential, 3, 4, 5 more clients as a referral, right? And then every one of those is another, like that's
the game.
That's the compound effect, right? That's the Darren Hardy type stuff where it's like, if you can get one and then you can get one, even if you only get one other, like it just multiplies, right? So that's why by year 9, 10, I would even say like maybe 5, 6, you should be getting like a large portion of your business from your sphere.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing that
past client referral.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that a lot of agents make the mistake when they want to go listen or go work with someone who's been doing it for 50 years. I remember that was a mistake when I first got in the industry. I worked for a guy named Rob Murray. He'd been in Riverside his whole life, lives in the same neighborhood. He lived across the street from his mom's house. And I tried to do real estate like him. He would send out postcards and get like 2 listings. Yeah. I would send out postcards to get nothing. Yeah. And I'm just like, why is this working for him and not? And then I had to think like, well, he's lived in this neighborhood his whole life.
Yep.
He's in his 60s. Everyone still knows him. Like all his clients are selling at this point. They're at the same age he's at. Like I can't do real estate the way he does it. And I think that's a mistake.
Not yet, right?
Not yet.
Yeah.
But when I'm 60,
yeah,
I'll be able to. And I think that's also the two when you're like when you see these big teams are like, oh, we went from we went from 100 deals, and then the next year we did 150, or I did 200 next year. Well, it's like, yeah, like you have you did 150 deals last year. Out of 150 clients, you're probably going to get another 50 referrals from them or more.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. It's like, you got to really listen to the people. Like, how can I do real estate now when I'm new? Not how someone does it when they've been doing it for 10 years or 20 years.
Yeah.
Or someone who's in their 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
If you're 25, you cannot listen to someone in their 60s. You cannot do real estate the same way.
Yeah.
Your clientele is different.
Yeah, you can take maybe bits and pieces of advice, but you're right, you can't mirror it at that point, you know. But again, that's going back to the Mike Ferry coaching thing. It's like, I think when you're a brand new agent, at least from my perspective, you have to be able to figure out, or at least learn from someone, how to get now business when you have zero past clients, zero, you know. And that was the cool thing about, you know, learning from Mike, all the objection handling, all the, you know, just everything that you learn was pivotal for me to kind of build the foundation. And then once you have the foundation of you can handle objections, you can go out and get your own business, then you can start building on top of that the walls of, you know, all the marketing and the social media and this and that, and then you really start building this really cool thing.
Well, what people don't realize, marketing is money. That's the issue.
A lot of times it is,
it's money.
But obviously with social media, you can market yourself for free. But you're right, once you start diving into marketing with postcards or ads or flyers, you better have a bankroll.
That or just like, you know, like I have a lot of people always hit me up. They're like, I want to do what you do. And I'm like, okay, great. Well, like this is $5,000.
Yeah, putting together a studio.
Putting this studio is $5,000. The touchscreen whiteboard outside, that's another $4,000. The new studio that we're building right now is $3,000. Adrian is $3,000. Like, it's like, can you bankroll this and realize you're not going to get deals from it tomorrow?
That's the other thing. Yeah, I mean,
you have to bankroll this for 6, 8, 10 months before it might work.
Well, and you know this better than anyone, and I know this, that having a podcast doesn't mean your phone's just gonna start ringing.
No.
Like, it takes a long time. It's just another way to get yourself out there in front of people, but it's not gonna turn into. It could.
It does.
And it's hard to trace back exactly sometimes if it did or did not. But it's just another way to get in front of people and to brand yourself. But if you're a brand new agent, don't think that you're gonna start a podcast and just people are just going to start calling you. Like, first of all, no one's going to watch your podcast or listen to your podcast. It's going to take time to get there, you know. And I think, I don't know, you have to figure out, if you're a brand new agent watching this, you have to figure out how to get business now, immediately, and then you can evolve into, you know, all the fun stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. And I think that the thing is that people don't want to do the hard stuff because it sucks. They just want to do this stuff, you know?
This is fun.
Or like, hey, I'm showing houses today. Like, cool. You and everyone else. Like, it's not gonna.
Are you getting your offer accepted?
Yeah. No, I'm not. Actually, I saw you post the other day. Like, or yesterday, I think you posted it was under 30,000 under asking price. I saw that.
Oh
post.
yeah.
I was like, oh dang. I was like, that's a post right there.
Yeah, and it's funny because I had people hit me up like, how did you do that? Or, well, can you do that for me? You know, and it's like, yes, maybe, but, you know, certain houses you got to use those wins as marketing tools, right? Like, especially in a market like this.
Yeah.
But that particular home was a little overpriced to begin with. And in this market, those are also the type of things you need to go and look for, right? Like, if you see a home that's been on the market for double or triple what it should be, even if it's too high, why not reach out to the agent and say, hey, look, I know this has been on the market a while. I'm sure your clients aren't super happy.
Yeah.
Are they negotiable? That's exactly what I said. Are they negotiable? I didn't say, hey, will they take X amount off, because I don't want to close the door right away. It took a lot of going back and forth to get that 30 grand off. But if you kind of just a little foreplay, right? Like, well, are you negotiable, you know? Yeah, they're negotiable. Cool. So now, you know.
What's crazy is, like, that's a poor listing agent right there, because knowing their clients like that, they would have probably got more money, and this is what people don't get. They would have probably got more money if they would have dropped their price by 30,000 on a Wednesday, let showings over the weekend. They probably would have got it 15,000 below.
100%. Or they probably would have got more money if they just listed it
low from the
correctly.
beginning.
Correctly.
And that's the thing that people don't get. A good right now, a good listing agent, and a good listing agent all time, in my opinion, and buyer's agent, is you're basically looking to protect your client from themselves.
In a way, yeah,
Like,
you're right.
I want to list it at this like perfect example, the house that we were talking before that I just sold the same floor model down the street. They're like, oh, well, we want to list that same price, and I'm like, that house has a bigger backyard, has solar, has upgraded floors. Like, your house is just not worth that much. And the crazy part is like, we might actually sell it for the same price the other one did, but I don't think we would have done that if we would have listed at that price.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing about being a listing agent, is that you have to kind of, even in a crazy seller's market, you still got to protect them from, my house is worth blank amount of dollars. Well, it isn't, but we could do it here, and we can maybe get close to that price.
Yeah. Slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, and two, it's better always to list at something and then sell above than list something and have to go down.
Absolutely. Yeah. I always ask people, in an auction, do they start high and go down?
Yeah.
Or,
because that's
they
what
start
we're
low
in. We're
and
in an
go
auction
up?
right now.
100%.
That's all
Every
we are.
listing's an auction, if you really think about it, right?
For sure.
Like, if it's priced low enough, it's going to be an auction.
Well, I just look at everything will sell.
Mm-hmm.
It just matters what price it sells for.
Yes.
That's it. Like, someone will buy anything out there. And in this market, if no one's buying it means it's overpriced.
Yeah.
Even in, honestly, any market. If it does not sell, it's overpriced.
Yes. Especially if it does not sell within the average days on market,
Yeah.
right? Because let's face it, average days on market can vary. Mm-hmm. Right now in the neighborhood, average days on market's probably like 6 days, right? Or 7. I remember when I don't even want to say first got in, a couple years ago, like average days on market might have been 15 to 30 days. Like, that was just the average.
Yeah.
Like, and it was like, okay, if it doesn't sell in 30 days, we'll know it's listed too high, So same with here. If it's not selling the first week, it's probably too high.
So you're at 10 years now. Like, are you just trying to just maintain right now, or are you wanting to do other ventures, or?
No, I wouldn't say maintain. I mean, you always want to do more every year, more deals, or at least higher GCI. And I think a couple things have happened. Like, I've realized the power, or I've fallen in love with passive income, right? So I have a couple rental properties, and every time those checks hit those payments hit my account, it's like a light bulb kind of goes off. Like, okay, how can I
get more of these?
Get more of this, right? So it used to be, how can I sell more houses? And that's still part of the game for me. But now it's shifted to like, how can I keep finding these properties to where every month, whether it's a couple $100 or it's $1,000, it's still passive income, and I think right now I've kind of shifted to like, how can I keep growing the passive income?
Yeah.
So that's been a big part of it. Buying 1 or 2 a year is the goal. Like, eventually I'd like to get to where if I don't want to work, I don't have to.
Yeah.
Or at least if I don't think I'm not trying to, retire and not work again at 40 or whatever. I think I'd get bored, but at least figure out a way to where it's like, you don't feel like you owe anything to anyone. If you want to sleep in that day, or you want to take a week off or something, you're still going to have money coming in.
Yeah.
And that's kind of more the focus right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think like, I've always told, like, I think my goal last year started, and this year is like, how do you make money when houses don't sell anymore?
Yes.
That's all I think about now. Is like, the sad part is, and if you're a new agent, you're probably like, oh, it must be nice that these guys, like we're always going to do deals.
Yeah.
Like, deals are all, like, we have such a big, we have past clients. We're out there so much. We have platforms. Like, we know how to do this game. Like, we're going to do deals every year.
Yeah.
Are we going to do?
It's almost automatic that you're going to do,
I'm going to do 30 deals a year.
30 deals
every year.
automatic.
And that sounds, like, some people are like, how do you, it's like, because you've set the base. Like,
yeah.
It's almost like you've done it once.
But you built to that. Yeah.
And so now, like, okay, I'm like, okay, cool, that's always going to come in. But, like, how do I also make money like say nothing's selling, how do I still make money? And that's going to be passive income, maybe podcasting, YouTube, ad revenue from other stuff. Like, that's my goal right now, is that, like, how do I make money?
I like that. I like that a lot, because let's face it, things have changed in our world, some for the worse, some for the better. And when you look at the better part of it, the internet has changed the way that you can make money.
For sure.
Drastically, you know. So it's like, you're right. If you can build something that people are interested in watching, not only can you get ad revenue, but, you know, if you build a big enough brand, you can sell merchandise, you can sell this, you can sell coaching courses. Yeah, I don't sell these, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. It's yeah, there's just so many different ways to make money if you can build the brand, right? Like, let's face it, if you build a big enough brand, you can sell anything.
Yeah.
You know, Kim Kardashian can put her name on anything, it's going to sell, right? It's just because you've already built the brand. Any celebrity, for the most part, can slap their name on something and they're going to sell units of it. So I think once you build the brand, not saying you just want to just throw out crap, but like if you build a big enough brand and you provide cool stuff that people want, you're going to sell stuff. Yeah. And whether that's merchandising or coaching or content, you know, behind a paywall content. I mean, there's so many different ways to make money now.
And I think that's one thing a lot of people in the industry, like, we're taught, like, sell houses. Because I think people push selling houses so much because everyone else makes money off us.
Yes.
Selling houses. And the moment you tell your title rep, lender, escrow, broker, whatever, like, hey, I'm thinking about making money podcasting or a coaching program or merch, they're like, well, let's talk about this for a second. We kind of need you to keep selling houses because that's how we make money. And if you stop, then we stop. So I don't think that's ever pushed a lot. It's more pushed like build a team, build an office, keep funneling us money. It's why I think that, you know, no one's ever holds realtors accountable in this industry. Like, new agents get in, they're so worried about my mistake. Like, I don't want to get sued. It's so hard to get sued in this industry. Like I tried to sue someone the other day for something they did illegal, and the lawyers are like, yeah, like, it's going to cost you like $10,000 and you might not even win. Even though you're right, you might not even win. What? So it's like... So it's like, that's the reason why I don't think they keep realtors accountable, because they need you to pay your $150 every quarter to your boards, your $50 a month to Supra, your money to car, your money to NAR, and it's just a big money game. That's all it is.
Well, yes, I agree with all that, but I also think realtors are not taught. Most people aren't taught this, but especially in an industry where when you do well, you make a lot of money. No one tells you, or at least I think things are changing now again because of social media and stuff. You've got people like Thatch Nguyen and all that who are teaching people
like how to invest.
But prior to that, I don't think there was a lot of people that were saying, hey, you know, realtor, you're making great money. Don't just go buy the new Rolex and the new this and the new that. Buy property or invest in this stock or that, you know, do things that are going to double and triple your net worth in a matter of years, rather than just, it's, you know, in our industry, it's always seems to be about the cars or the watches or, well, no, look, I'm down with all that. I got a nice car. My car is, you know, almost $100,000 when I bought it. I mean, yeah, it's not a Ferrari or whatever, but I'm also not pushing a Civic or whatever. You know, it's just, I think that those things are great, but and if you've got enough money to do both, you should do both. But if you're an agent and you're only doing 20 deals, you're still making good money, but you're not going to have as much as...
If I could go back.
Yeah. If
I could go back.
Think about it, dude. Okay, so we're sitting here. It's 2022.
There's so many houses I should have bought.
You should have bought. You could have bought, too. That's not the thing. It's not like
I could have bought them.
Yeah. Same here. Same here. I should have started buying more.
And I should have bought out of state. Like I was on a conversation last night with my buddy who's moving to Chattanooga, which I'm super pumped because he owns a few rentals, and I'm like, sweet. When you're out there, you could go look at stuff, because he was like, hey, there's this house for $90,000. I could be in it for 15. You could be in it for 15. Yeah, it cash flows a little bit, but this is the neighborhood I know is gonna blow up. Like, I think this house could be worth $150 in 2 years, 3 years. And it's like, man, if I could have bought houses in Chattanooga, in Chattanooga or Alabama or whatever for $50,000. Like, I look back, like I could have bought that house for $5 G's, throwing 5Gs on that house, 5Gs on that house, it's like, it's crazy.
When I look at my own net worth, right, like almost all of it, the biggest portions of it are in the properties that I bought and bought at a good time.
Yeah.
So it's like, had I done that 10x, you know, my net worth would be 10x, right? Like, but you know, you can't go back and say what if or this or that. It's like, now you know, use what you know now moving forward, right?
And I think that's the thing is like, it's just, you have to find other ways to make money.
Yes.
And then if you listen to Grant Cardone, then it's figure out how not to pay a lot of taxes.
Well, that's a big one too. Yeah.
Like that's something else I don't think anyone ever talks to agents about, like opening up a corporation, becoming an LLC, becoming an S corp, putting yourself on payroll, like you know,
all those things help.
Like it's so funny because I just made the joke like the car, like I didn't even want that car I just bought. The only reason I bought it was for tax reasons. So it's like, do I write the government a check or do I go out and buy something that I can use as a write-off that money's gone already? Like I talk to people and they're like, I can't believe you bought, like, how did you, like this, that, and the other? And I'm like, I'd write a $50,000 check or I can write a $20,000 check for a car and make payments on it. Yeah. Which one would I rather do? And I have something to show for that 20 grand.
Yeah. Instead of just giving it to the government.
And that's the thing new agents don't learn. Like, oh yeah, like yeah, and then they're not good at it. Like, oh yeah, I was gonna open up a corporation this year, but you know, whatever. And then I'm like, well, what did you pay in taxes this year? Oh, I paid 30 grand. I'm like, yeah, I paid 10 and I made twice as much as you. Like, you know, you have to know how to do that.
Well, there's agents to this day that have been in the business for a long time, and I'll talk to them like, hey, how much did you pay in taxes? And yeah, they'll say, you know, 30 grand, 40 grand, and I'm like, and they're still driving an old car.
Yeah,
they're still like, I'm like, dude, you got to do something different. You got to talk to your tax person and see what else you can, you know. Now, granted, if you're making, you know, but 40 grand in taxes isn't a lot if you're making $1 million, right? But like, I know these agents aren't making that.
No, they're making 250.
Yeah, and they're still paying crazy amount in taxes, and you're like, dude, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, I think that's. I remember my tax guy this year. He's like, well, this is what you're gonna pay. And I'm like, I don't want to pay that much. He's like, if things keep going the way you're sooner or later gonna have to write that check, dude.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
Like sooner or later you're gonna have to write that check. I'm like, I know that's a good problem to have, but like I'd rather not.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't have to.
You know. And I think it's just so funny how many things we're not taught, and then we wonder why people never make it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. There's a lot to it, and I think that's again why most people don't. I think when people get into real estate, they think it's just like a job, right? Like it's just a normal job. Like, no, you got to treat it like a business.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done.
You have to run it like a business.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue I always see is like, no one wants to invest in their business or themselves in real estate, but they want to double their business every year.
Yeah.
Like, I want to double my business. Okay, how much money have you spent in your business? Well, nothing. How much money have you spent on like coaching yourself? Well, nothing. Okay, then why do you think you're at the same amount of deals for the last 3 years?
Yeah.
You know, like even like this room, like I didn't have to upgrade this room, but I felt like, you know what? Like what we're doing is like not good enough.
Yeah.
Like let's spend the money and get better.
Let's get better.
Let's get better.
Let's improve.
Let's keep improving.
Yes.
You know, let's spend this money.
Almost like reinventing, you know, yourself sometimes. Like, and you have to do that multiple times throughout your business and your, you know.
And it sounds so stupid, but this photo, it sounds so stupid to say, but a photo of us being taken in this room, even though we'd be talking about the same thing in the last room, will do better and grab more attention.
Yes.
Than
because of the aesthetics of it.
The aesthetic of the room.
For sure. Yeah, man. And I even would say, like, look at different, even like celebrities that have kind of stood the test of time. Like, a lot of them reinvent themselves
like Madonna.
through the years. Yeah, Madonna. Yeah, if you look at Madonna in the 80s, 90s, she's constantly reinvented herself, but she's always, for the most part, stayed relevant. Yeah. Right? Like, yeah, maybe not as huge of a star as she was, you know, in the 80s or 90s, but dude, she's still at the Grammys. She's still here. She's still there. Why is that? Constantly reinventing who they are.
Yeah,
you know?
and then she did a smart move by like doing that concert with Britney Spears back in the day, and then having that like kiss moment, which then kind of
controversy,
brought her up, and then And I think that's the thing is like, it's like, oh my God, now she's back in the limelight. I kind of think that with like celebrities too. Like Kim Kardashian's dating whatever, Peter or whatever his name. Like, is she dating him because she likes him, or is she dating him because like now everyone, because that's not the guy that anyone thinks she would date.
Yeah.
Because she's married to Kanye, and then everyone before Kanye was kind of like athlete.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to date the goofy funny guy.
Yeah.
And that's going to, change the way people look at me. And now everyone keeps talking about it.
Yes. Yeah. 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 I mean, there's always got to be kind of something new that you're doing, something that you're implementing to not only keep everyone else on interested, but
even yourself.
Keep yourself on edge, right? Like you can fall into this trap of just doing the same monotonous shit all the time. Mm-hmm. You got to switch it up every once in a while. You're just going to wear yourself out. You're going to get bored. You're going to, you name it.
Well, and that's why, for me, that's why I like doing this.
Yeah.
Like, I get to have a different conversation with different people all the time.
Yes. Yeah.
And that is such a great feeling to have because it's something different. Because a real estate transaction is always the same.
Yes.
And this can be actually something different.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell people all the time, like, the videos and the suits and, the shows and the podcast, whatever, that is just to keep me entertained throughout the monotony of selling real estate. Because as much as I enjoy certain aspects of selling real estate, a lot of it is just the same old thing.
Everything, a transaction is literally the same for $100,000 house or a $10 million house. No,
for the most part,
For the most part, it's put it on the market it, get an offer,
negotiate,
open escrow, get disclosure forms out. They're doing inspections.
Yep. Deal with
the
repairs.
Dealing with repairs, close.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that people understand. The only difference is it takes a lot harder to walk into someone who has a $10 million house than it is to walk into a $100,000 house.
For sure, yeah. But again, at the same time, the clients want the same thing.
Oh, for sure.
The $100,000 house guy wants his house sold in a good amount of time for more, most amount of money
possible.
Same with the 10
How many times
guy.
have you heard that? Like, I want the most money possible for your house, and I always say, me too, because then I get paid more.
Yep. Or well, I don't want to give it away. Well, we haven't given away one yet,
no,
right? Like,
I never given one away. My goal is not to give one away.
Yeah.
Because if I give a free house away, I don't get paid.
Exactly.
That's
a good point. Yeah. If you give it away, you don't
get paid.
Yeah.
So, James, thanks for coming on, man.
Dude,
it's always a pleasure.
Man.
And we've known each other now for, I feel like 4 years now, maybe.
Dude, it's probably been longer.
No, because I've only been in for 6 years, maybe 4.5.
Yeah, but I knew you before.
Yeah, before I came over to Signature, but I didn't know you.
I guess.
And it's been awesome to kind of see the transition you've made. I'm very proud of you.
Man. Same with you.
Like when I first met you, you were like, grinding and like and banging the phones and banging the streets and in the office 24/7 and I'd always be the other guy like, yo, dude, just chill.
Yeah, just chill.
Make a little video, you know what I mean?
Build a team.
and I think that's the thing that I think that people have to realize, like, it's work one way or another.
Yes.
You just got to figure out what work you want to do.
Yep. 100%.
When I first got in, you banged and called when you first got in. I DM'd 2,000 people on Facebook.
Yep.
That took me over a month.
Yeah.
And I got blocked on Facebook 3 times. And I got yelled at in DMs. I got so it's like I did that one way and you did your that one way and
I got yelled at on the phone.
Yeah. Exactly. You're gonna get yelled at.
Totally.
People are not gonna like you.
Yep.
I don't even know why. That's a thing. Like, why are you angry?
I don't know. I'm trying to think about when people call me, I never really get mad at people knocking on my door or there's definitely times where maybe it's, I'm in the middle of something or I'm having a rough day or something, where I'm a little more short maybe with people, but I never understood the people that
yell at someone,
yell or cuss you out or I've had it all, man. I've had so many people cuss me out and stuff. And I get if people are having a bad day, but that just seems a little excessive.
And you know what's crazy? I almost feel bad for those people.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You must be very unhappy in your life.
Yes.
To feel like you're that angry.
Yes.
To yell at someone
that you don't know.
You don't even know. Yeah. I mean, I used to be a professional umpire. I used to get yelled at and yell at people. And I used to always tell guys, I'm like, dude, what's your problem today? Like, I'd always ask them, like, are you all right? I know are you mad at someone else? Because there's no way you could be this mad at me over this call.
Over this call, yeah.
You must be something else. And it'd be so funny, like, the next day, they'd be like, yeah, dude, sorry. Like, me and my girl,
Yep.
We're getting in a fight. We just had a baby. I just walked on the field. Like, we traveled all last night. I'm slumping right now. I should be in the big leagues. I'm not. Like,
yep.
And it's like, I didn't mean to take it out on you, but it just happened. And you're like,
yeah,
oh, man. It's like, I get it. I'm like, I have bad days too. I was like, but I don't just randomly go yell at you. That's what I'd always say to him. I can start randomly yelling at you when I'm in a bad mood. I'll start doing it. I'll be like, hey, you, get over here. I'm having a bad mood.
I've had a couple people text me after they've like yelled at me and say, hey, I'm sorry. People I don't know, like just randomly. But yeah, man, that's the other thing where I don't take it personal either, because I know like it doesn't have anything to do with me.
That's like when I see people sell with someone else or buy with someone else on Facebook and I know them. It's like, you know what? Like, I have no idea that connection with that person.
True.
You know, that might be their mom's best friend for the last 20 years.
Yeah, like, but you're always going to think like, what could I have done different? Maybe, or I do at least. I think, damn, I put it on myself. Like, I know a lot of people, if someone they know, and I'm not talking about like their best friend, but there's someone they maybe casually know, lists their home with another person. I always think that, or they usually get mad, like, oh, screw that person, blah, blah, blah. For me, I'm more like, damn, like, how could I got in front of them a little bit more, or maybe like maybe like what I say wasn't resonating through my marketing. I always put on myself like, how could I have reached that person?
I only care is when I see them list their house and their photos are so terrible, and I'm like, you know, like, how do you yes, that's a good point. That's the only time I'm like, that's when I'm like, what the, like,
when the agent they hire sucks.
But
and
when
you're
the agent's
like,
when the agent's like a badass, like, I'm like, I get it. Like, that person's probably good. Farming that neighborhood, or like, it's like, I don't care about losing to someone like Brad Allwine, who's like the #1 agent in Riverside. Like, I'm gonna lose to him. I've never lost a deal to him, but like, if I'm going on $1 million house, like, technically he should probably get it over me. Like, he has way more experience than me, so I don't really care about that. But it's like, when their photos are terrible, it's a brand new, like, it is what it is. Like, I think that's the thing that people don't get about this industry, is that like, you're gonna lose to someone's friend who just got their license because it's their best friend. Yeah, I mean, it happened to me. Like, I was showing a guy $1 million houses, and then like all of a sudden he went and bought with his wife's wife's really good friend who just got her license, their first deal ever. And it's like, how, like, and I don't even know the person, so it's like, I'm gonna lose that. Yeah, and you just gotta chalk it up to like, sadly, I'll probably do that to someone else one day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know for a fact and I'm sure you have too, where it's like, you've listed a home and you know that their cousin or someone or their friend is an agent, but
I always love when their neighbor's an agent and they're like, okay, like, you're gonna come over and list my house really quick. Like, I don't want to list my neighbor. And it's always a good time. So James, appreciate it. We're gonna go play golf now.
Let's go do it.
I can't thank you enough for coming up here.
My pleasure, man. We'll do it again.
Make sure you go follow him. Like, honestly, James is. I try to surround myself with people that do things better than me on social media, and James definitely, his videos are really cool and high tech, and he drinks about tequila and he's way cooler than me. His photos are way cool. His wife is way cooler than both of us. So
that is true.
Make sure you go follow them. He's a great example of someone who built a good base with cold calling and door knocking and all those things. Even though I say I would never do those, he did it. It worked great. But now he's built a good base, a good brand, and now he's living off that.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, man. Until next time, guys. Peace.